Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Tyler Merkovich with the Czar Playbook, Emery Hunt, bringing you Week 2 coverage of the Canadian Football League season. And Saskatchewan travels to the BC Lions. The Roughriders, spectacular win over the Alouettes, 54-51 in overtime, while BC handed Edmonton their first loss of the season with a win 25-10. Saskatchewan 30 second half points to rally in that game. Durant 30 for 44, very efficient, 470 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interception. Wes Cates added 13 carries for 112 yards on the ground. So what are your keys to victory for the Roughriders to take this momentum into British Columbia and take out the Lions?
Well, they have to get off to an early start. You saw last week against Montreal, they started late in the game. They got that momentum going. They couldn't be stopped. Everything they did was just clicking. But they have to get off to an early start, especially against a team like BC, which leads me to my second point, is that they got to be ready to stop the run. You saw that big acquisition, Jamal Robinson, just rip apart Edmonton last week in the run game. So they have to be ready to stop the run, because if Montreal would have stayed with the run, they could have had some success rushing against Saskatchewan, but they got away from it. But you know BC is going to come running the football, and they also have to make sure they keep Corey Banks off Durant. Durant was clean last week. He was able to move around the pocket. Banks had 2 sacks last weekend against Ricky Ray, but if they're gonna allow him to get to the quarterback, it could be a long day for Saskatchewan.
Well, in the Lions win over the Eskimos, Jamal Robertson put on a show. He looked flashy, he looked aggressive. Great pickup for the Lions. 11 carries, 168 yards for a touchdown. And Casey Printers really not damaging the offense. This guy had a lot of experience with Kansas City a couple years ago in the preseason, but he's a caretaker, 20 for 34, and that's a pretty good offense. Well,
you look at BC, they can't allow Dressel to get loose in that secondary. Dressel caused Montreal all kind of problems last week. Speedy guy, catches the ball well with his hands, so they can allow him to get loose in the secondary, otherwise he caused some problems. Also, they have to make sure they keep Durant in the pocket. When Durant was able to break free against Montreal, it caused problems for that entire defense. It loosened up that running game for Wes Cates, so they have to make sure they collapse the pocket, get pushed instead of pressure, otherwise it could be a long day. Also, third, I would have to say they have to really force the Roughriders to be one-dimensional, because last week Roughriders had a lot of balance. They were able to run the football, Wes Cates, throw the football, operate off play action, really had Montreal on the heels, and if BC allows them to get balanced, it could be a long day. That's why I'm going with Saskatchewan. I think they're more advanced right now in the passing game as opposed to BC, but they have to follow up. They have to carry that momentum. I don't think that momentum is going to die off after playing such an amazing game. Maybe it was a little bit emotional attached to it because of the fact that, that was the Grey Cup rematch. So you kind of want to go with BC, but I think Saskatchewan is going to win this game.
Are they drained of that emotion, or do they take the momentum? Is a big question. You have the Roughriders, big game. That's a feature match at Saskatchewan at BC. Robertson versus Durant and company, a potent offense, a lot of offense we can see for spectacular players. For more, visit footballgameplan.com/CFL or check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/footballgameplan.